Okay, fuckers and fuckettes. Today, we're prepping a little tank here for paint. This one's getting a Confederate flag. And anybody that doesn't like the fact that it's getting a Confederate flag, please go watch something else, because I don't really give a fuck. It's my shit. I can do whatever the hell I want. Meantime, what I've done here is I've taken... Let me grab that shit. Glazing and spot putty. It's made by 3M. I always just call it spot putty, but I knew there was another word in there. And all the little pits that you always seem to show up after the first coat. And this does have primer on it, and I prepped it pretty good. But you always, when you're working outside like this, instead of in a nice pretty shop, you always get that little bit in between. And you always get this little overspray up, you know, around valleys and shit like that. Now some of that I'm going to have to take out with a Dremel. I ain't going to do that in a video because that shit takes too long. It'll take me about an hour and a half to work that out and get that back to pretty again. And that's just, I had a little bit too much air going to the and I was blowing paint all over the place. But I've got a little bit of it in here, and I can still feel with my fingers that it's still up, even though I've already sanded it a little bit. This is regular emery paper. I think it's like 180 grit. But now that I've gotten that far, we'll take this here. This is Norton 320. Actually, it's no-file Adelox, but it's made by Norton, and it's 320 grit. I don't know what the A stands for, probably aluminum oxide or some shit. But, and I ain't gonna look it up either, because I don't give a shit. I'm a redneck. All I know is it works. That's all I need to know. But, very gently, take and sand that off. And if you watch where the dust is, you can see that that's going to pit again. And that's because of the filler underneath it. Actually, if I wipe that off right now, that little filler will show through. Well, I feel that dent with my hand, and I know that I can cover that with flames or something like that, but like I say, this one's getting a Confederate flag, so there's only going to be three basic colors. Red, white, and blue. I had somebody actually cuss me, said that my American flag on the Triumph was offensive to them because that's an English flag. And you know what? Again, I don't give a fuck. It's my shit. I can paint it any way I want. If anybody doesn't like it, well, just assume that the Democratic Party members ain't got the sense that God gave them, because I don't bitch about what they put on their bikes. They show the same courtesy. Very gently put that shit on there. It's already hard. That stuff cures up right away. Don't even bother trying to work with it once it gets kind of jellyish. This side over here, it's already smooth. And I've already worked this one in, but not this one. I've worked this one. This top one. I haven't worked that one. This one back here on the back, I haven't worked at all. And if you get a little bit of sweat on it, wipe that shit off with a rag. And by the way, make sure your rags ain't got no grease on them. Paint don't stick to that shit. Anyway, let me work this one down. You don't want to scratch the whole area. I mean, I'm roughing up the entire coat of paint anyway before I put on the second and final coat of this paint. I'm going to touch that just a little bit. Okay, perfect. Now, very gently. You notice I've got an electric sander here. I'm saving that for other tanks, not this one, because this one's in its final stages. well, not final, but final stages for this color. And I know if I spent the big bucks and bought decent paints and all this, it wouldn't do that. Well, my real problem is my compressor. And I've got cheap-ass Harbor Freight guns because somebody decided they liked my shit better than I did, and they walked off with it. I lost a nice set of airbrushes. Now, you get areas like this where you don't really see it from a distance, and you can buff that shit out. But if I put another coat of paint over that, see, that's just a little bit of overspray in there. Same thing, just take your little 320 grit, and you see that'll spot up. You can see where them spots are. Let me see if I can get that shit up there. You see all them little spots in there? Well, that's where all the raised up shit is. That dust ain't gathering on top of the raised up shit, it's gathering next to it and showing you what you got to take out. See right there, it's showing me that I got some sunk in shit. You know, that's where the paint didn't quite get on there even, or it didn't stick, or it bunched up while it was curing, which happens. This is urethane based paint, but it's some of that, the hell is this, Nason. It's Nason ass shit, because I can't afford decent PPG. I'm what you call one of these broke-ass rednecks. Just work that shit out. Make sure it's all nice and smooth. Because if you leave something on this coat here, when you spray over it with the next coat, that something's probably going to be bigger. Yeah, sure, you might fill it in if you're spraying heavy, but I'm not spraying this one heavy because I don't want 30 pounds of paint on here. I just want a little bit of paint. And like I say, I'm going to work that out away from the camera because I can. I'm going over the whole thing, roughing up the whole surface. We're going to set that off to the side and let that cure up a little bit more, because I know I could sand it right now, but I'm not going to. Take my rag. Wipe the rest of this off. If I feel any snags in my rag, well, I'm going to go back and sand it. And in a while, after I'm done with everything, I'll run my hands over it. And between coats, even though you've just sanded, that shit should be as smooth as your old lady's ass cheeks. If it ain't, you ain't done. If your old lady ain't got smooth ass cheeks, well, I feel sorry for her. Unless you're a member of the Democratic Party, then you ain't got no fucking sympathy coming. But, now, this one, I didn't want to go through 2 or 3 tubes of this shit, and I got plenty of primer around. What I did is I put on a sandable primer, and I filled in all them little pits and stuff, and I'm still going to have some cracks because I was handling the damn thing while the primer was a little bit wet. And again, this is just regular emery paper. I want you to notice I ain't using that machine there because that gives you if you use a power sander, use a slow one to begin with. Don't use a fast one. But even if you do use a slow one, 5 or 6 years from now, that'll look like shit. And some of y'all that know me, you know that my paint jobs, when they're done, they look good 30 years from now. There's stuff I did back when I was in my late teens and early 20s that still looks good today. A lot of it got sun faded sitting out in the sun when I didn't have a storage building, but it still looks good. I mean, I fucking hit some of that shit with a couple coats of wax and it looks good today. The rest of it that was inside all the time, or at least at night, still looks good today. Now this fairing is getting skulls and flames. I'm continuing on like I did that Gixxer tank. Take nice long strokes. The only reason I go like that every now and then is because I got a little teeny spot that I'm trying to get out. And that's just something that you learn by feel. And by the way, wear safety glasses, sealed ones when you're doing this. If you get this dust in your eyes, especially on a hot day like this, I got a fan behind me blowing on me. I'm still sweating my dick off. But you get that dust in your eyes, that shit ain't good. It hurts. Make sure you wear you some safety glasses whenever you're doing some dusty shit like this. I guess a lot of reason these painters always wear regular glasses is because they forget too many times to get that shit all up in their eyes and stuff. And you see I still got a little bit of orange peel there, but the rest of it's starting, I got them keywords in there, starting to look good. And a little bit of orange peel there. Now I take this, work that out real gentle. And that dust is showing me where everything is, so I know that that's where I got to be working. And right now I'm just focusing on this orange peel. I might have to cut this short. I got a guy bringing over a Yosung 650 V-twin that I don't know what's wrong with it, but probably just clean the cards and make him go again. He said all it's been doing is sitting a couple of years. But then yes, folks, I will work on Korean motorcycles. I'll even work on Victories. I'll work on Confederates. Those are the only American motorcycles I'll work on other than Indian. You can bring me, I don't care if they made it in Yankee country. You can bring me any motorcycle that's made in America, I'll work on it. You bring me a motorcycle that's made in Japan or Taiwan or Korea, I'll still work on it. 'Cause I ain't picky. I believe, you know, there are many different types of bikers. You got the guys that ride the crotch rockets. You got the guys that ride muscle bikes. You got guys like me, I'll ride any fucking thing, you know, and it's the same with women. I'll ride any goddamn thing. A lot of guys are like, fuck, you know, don't ride a fat chick. Well, you know, hey, worst piece of pussy I ever had felt pretty damn good, and the same thing goes for motorcycles. The worst one I ever rode felt pretty damn good. As far as them little scooters go, if you ain't Dennis, don't bring one over here, because I ain't working on the son bitch. I'll take pictures of it and laugh at you and make fun of you. Ooh. Like I say, even with that fan, I'm sweating my dick off. I've got sweat running all up in my glasses and shit. There's here another reason for these glasses on a hot day. You need that shit. You see now all these big bubbles like this. Yeah, I'm just demonstrating here. I'm going to finish this away from the camera, but I'm just more demonstrating than anything else. Hey, this is a quick, easy way to do it. It gives you a good job. A lot better than trying to sand it with the, you know, power sander. And it lasts a lot longer because you've worked everything through. It's not going to have that one spot that blisters or bubbles 5 or 6 years down the road. And I was watching that Orange County Choppers the other night. It's been about a month or so ago. Gal was down here from Yankee Country. We was sitting up in her motel room watching Orange County Choppers. I've seen these fuckers putting bullets on one of them bikes with mounting them to the handlebars with some fucking double-sided tape. I mean, hey, first time that shit gets wet, it's fucked. And they're supposed to be quality work. Well, hey, don't take lessons from them. Go on YouTube and watch you some fucking rednecks that actually do the shit every day and ain't out to show out and fucking... I wouldn't pay $70,000 for a bike with some shit on there with some goddamn double-sided tape, that's for sure. I wouldn't pay $70,000 for a Confederate, but you might catch me finding a used one for around 10. The Confederates are probably, Victory, the years to avoid are the 99 to about 02, because they had more than their share of transmission problems. Y'all saw that video of mine with that V92C. I never put up any videos of my Vision, but that was a piece of shit. Fucking, it never even saw 10,000 miles. It saw a 10 gauge out in the country. I shot that motherfucker apart 8 goddamn times before 5,000 miles. That fuel injection shit fucked up. Dealers wanted to charge me to fix it. Yeah, they didn't want to charge for parts because that's covered under warranty, but they wanted to charge me labor and shit. And I just didn't think that was right, so... Fuck them, I blew that bike to shit. And that's a good thing. I had fun doing it, so it was worth every penny of that $18,000 I had in that goddamn bike. That V92C, I handed out, I think I traded it off for a Hardley Abelson or some shit, I don't remember. I was really pissed with that bike because that was the third transmission in 12,000 miles that it chucked. It chucked third gear that last time. It had chucked fourth once. Or no, it chucked fourth the last time, it chucked third twice. But it's a common problem. None of those bikes ever made it to 10,000 without doing it. And that bike had 12,000 on it, and it had been through 3 transmissions. But that was fairly recent that I tried to look for another transmission so I could rebuild it. I was ready to cut one out of titanium and just make my own, but I got so pissed off after talking to all them Victory dealers that I just traded that piece of shit off and got rid of it. I'll never own another Victory again because they wanted to sell me new parts, and apparently their policy is anything over 10 years old, they don't make fucking parts for them. Which is typical Polaris. I mean, it's the same with their snowmobiles and everything else they make. And, that V92C, that was the black and blue, first year, limited edition, all that happy shit. It was probably my mistake for buying anything first year from Polaris. And you see, I've got one here that I'm going to have to fill in a little bit with that red shit. I'll do that in a minute. But I'm going to go on ahead and sand the rest of this down. And actually, I think I could work that out. That's too deep to be working it out. I don't like that. I don't like any imperfections in my paint when I'm done. Yeah, it's too deep to work that one out. That'll get some of that red shit. And these here, I'm going to drill them out right before the last couple of clear coats. And I'll just take a drill bit with my hand, not on a drill, and fix that. And usually I won't even use it. It's not a real drill bit. It's a little tapered drill bit that I've got that's got about 50 teeth per inch. And it's more of an auger slash, I guess that's what you'd call it, is an auger sort of. It just kind of digs it out. And it's not threaded. The 50 teeth are long ways on the shaft, so I don't know what the hell the right name for it is. I know I got a box of them at some tool auction years ago when, I think it was, God, it was one of them glass companies up in Huntsville. They didn't go out of business, they was just moving their plant. See, that looks like shit, and I still got a little peely there. And I got those crackies. Now those crackies I'm going to fill in. But anyway, let's get back to this red tank, because it should be ready to get by now. Real quick like. Okay, that's down to the edges, and I can feel them edges. Right? I'll take this fine stuff. Notice I'm going a long ways with it. I could go in circles, but I'd rather have the grain of the tank all one direction, which is, I'll go down here before I'm done prepping this for this coat. I'll go down here and go like this and make sure that I don't have any recessions, any bumps or anything like that. Oh God, I could make another Democrat joke there. Make sure I don't have any recessions. Them fuckers ain't too good at that. I'm pretty sure they're trying to cause one. Oh, wait a minute, they already did that when Obama spent more money in his first 2 years in office than all other presidents combined. He wants a fucking tax hike instead of just keeping the government in their own damn budget. That's some stupid shit right there. And no, I'm not a racist. I ain't going to use the N-word. If I did, it would be against the Congress. All of them, white and black included, because I do happen to know the correct meaning of that word, which is, in a nutshell, an ignorant motherfucker. Somebody that God didn't give any common sense to. If he did give him common sense, traded it off for something. So it's obvious. If you don't have the money, don't spend it. It's that simple. Don't count on the American people to want to keep paying that shit. Normally I make sure that my paper is padded. Something that time. I'm just going to get on it like that. Now, by the fact that that stuff cured that short of a time, I got a little bit right there that I get out. But by the fact that that stuff cured for that short of a time, had I tried to do this with that power sander there, guess what? I'd have messed myself up because it would have dug all that red stuff right back out. Now, I'm not going to spray this tank probably till tomorrow or the next day because I do have that red stuff on there and I want it to be cured good because this is a urethane-based paint and this glazing and spot putty is almost lacquer. It might be lacquer for all I know. I don't bother looking the stuff up. I just stay with what works. And that stuff's worked well for me since, God, forever. And a lot of guys, they won't take the time. They'll throw some Bondo on stuff. I'll take powdered or shredded fiberglass and put on stuff. And I get a lot better job as an end result. So I still got a few little speckles up here that I got to work out. And this isn't that hard to do, to take that extra time to prep this stuff out. there we go. So anyway, that covers that. I'm gonna finish up in here, and I still got a few splinkles here and a couple here that I gotta work out. But that just gives you an idea, you know, after you get that coat. See, I got a recession right there. And that's one of the few recessions that's not caused by Democrats in Congress supporting all their fucking buddies instead of looking out for the American people. You know, they're up there with all this voodoo shit about they're going to cut the budget, and they're cutting shit they were planning on cutting out anyway. I think the American people are a bunch of idiots, but they're the fucking idiots for thinking it. But then again, you know, hey. Pretty close. I work those little recessions and little dents out. Like I said, I'm going to finish this off camera, and unless I just do it in the background or something, I'll show you how to mask it after I've got the next coat on. Holler at y'all fuckers and fuckheads later.